This is the Doctor, President-elect of the High Council of Time Lords.
I am definitely a madman with a box.
Anyone for jelly, baby?
I'm the Doctor. I'm 904 years old. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Castobrius.
Hey Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And this is episode 45. Forty-five,
yeah. Rattling through them, approaching the big 5-0 already. Amazing.
Yay. How are you, man?
I'm good, yes. I'm not bad at all. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you.
Yeah, you have a good birthday?
I had a fab birthday.
Any Who gifts?
Any Who gifts? I only got the one, because I think...
People don't tend to buy them, do they? They assume that you've got everything, or they don't know what to get.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's quite difficult to buy for Who fans sometimes, because I know that my wife, she was, so what do you want for your birthday then? Something Doctor Who? It's like, yeah, can do. She's like, well, what do you want then? I was like, don't know, really. Well, that's not very helpful. I said, well, I've got quite a lot of stuff upstairs, so I don't know. It's quite difficult, I guess. If you've not got a lot of stuff, or you're just starting out collecting, or you haven't got a lot of that stuff, then it's okay, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, I haven't got a great deal anyway. But
I always find there's loads of stuff I want, and then when somebody asks me, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's loads of things, or it's too expensive. You know, like I think, well, there is something I want, but it's a Doctor Who collectible that's about 200 quid. So, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I did get a Doctor Who dressing gown.
Oh, very nice.
The Tardis themed.
I bet that goes well with your Tardis slippers.
Oh, it's bang on. It's perfect.
Yeah. God, wow, you're well suited and booted then with that.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a potential... No. I was going to say it's a potential cosplay, but that might be a bit weird.
It'd be a little bit Arthur Dent, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be a crossover between the two worlds. Yeah, be good.
Yes, it would be a bit strange, but no, that's But I had a fab day, thank you, and I'd like to say thanks to all of you guys that jumped onto Facebook and Twitter and the Geeks Handbag page, because you guys just flooded our timeline with birthday messages. So that's really awesome. So that brought a tear to my eye almost.
Oh, yeah, we've got some good listeners out there.
We have.
Has to be said, yeah.
Thank you guys. That's really awesome. That made my day even better. It's very cool.
Very cool. Well, I'm glad you had a good one. How did you get on with your festival tickets, Doctor Who Festival?
Yes, I was going to mention that to you, mate, before we got onto the news. I nabbed a ticket, as you did.
Yes, I got one, yeah.
So we're going to be there on Saturday, right?
Yes, we're going to be there the same day, and we're both Daleks, aren't we? We're not Cybermen, we're both Daleks. Is that right?
Indeed, yes.
Yes, so that's going to be good. I'm actually really looking forward to it. The shine was taken off it slightly when because I've been waiting for the photo and autograph things to be released, and I'm really hoping I get one this year because I didn't have any luck with the 50th one, didn't manage to get any. So I'll be a little bit annoyed if that happens again. But I was a little bit peeved off actually because the Doctor Who official Facebook page, the day before the tickets went on sale, was saying about autograph and photo opportunities will be announced later. Fair enough, that's pretty standard with them. But then now the tickets have gone on sale, they've now said there won't be any autograph opportunities at all.
Oh, yeah.
And yep. I'm a bit miffed by that because, you know, one of the things I always look forward to, although I didn't manage to get them for the 50th, was, you know, the chance to get some autographs, because I love coming back with some signed pictures and stuff. I think it's, you know, it just gives you something to look at when you get home and you feel like you've got something and you met someone. So I'm a little bit shocked that they're having a festival with no autographs at all. I think it's really odd. But yeah, but that aside, I was furious about it when I first read it because I do think they're a bit misleading with what they were saying before. But that aside, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm glad we're both going to be there the same day. And I'm looking forward to grabbing some pictures on the sets and all that sort of thing.
That's going to be awesome.
And getting to see Mr. Capaldi himself. Yeah. He's good when he's on stage with Stephen Moffat. He doesn't sort of mince his words. They're quite good together. A bit like Matt and Stephen Moffat are always good together. They obviously got on quite well. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it.
It's going to be great. And I was going to mention it because there's a bit of a kick-off, wasn't there? A bit of a hoorah.
A couple of newspapers here in the UK broke
broke this story about hundreds and hundreds of Who fans who are going mental because the price of the tickets and so on.
They are a bit expensive, and I must admit, I was thinking the 50th ticket, I believe, was around 35. I can't remember now. It certainly wasn't anywhere near this, which is nearer 70. So it's twice the price.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I mean, I was trying to find my old ticket, but I realised, of course, I gave it in, when we went. But I'm sure it was around the 35. Somebody out there might want to correct me or whatever, but it definitely wasn't near £70. So it is a little bit expensive. And I mean, if you're thinking about the family tickets, which is what the news article focused on.
Yes.
I mean, that is like, what is it? Is it nearly 200 and something or 300? It's really expensive.
Yeah, it's like £200, I think, something like that for a family.
Yeah, that is a lot of money.
And if you want the Tardis edition, where you get a goodie bag and a front row seat, it's like another £100 on top of that or something.
And I think there's a valid point here, because people are saying, well, okay, I'm paying you 200 and something quid, and then you're going to ask me to pay extra for the photos and whatever at the end of the month. So what am I actually getting for 200 quid? Which is, you are going to get shows and stuff, but I can sort of, there's a lot of money to have to then pay extra for photos and anything else that they might want to throw in. So I can see it. I mean, me and you were both on that Friday when we were texting each other saying, right, here we go, getting ready to purchase tickets. We were both a bit like, oh, it's expensive, isn't it? I mean, I know you were sort of thinking, oh, shall I do this? Or because it's a lot of money.
Yeah, because
you've got to get travel.
Exactly.
I'm going to have to stay up there because it starts at like 9 o'clock, and there's no way I can get from here to London for 9, so I'm going to have to stay up there. I'm assuming you're going to stay up there, are you? Or
at the moment, I'm staying.
Or are you going to put foot to the pedal?
I don't know, because I can jump on the train, I guess.
You're a bit closer, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm in Bedfordshire, so it's not too bad. It's like 40 minutes on the train, but it's just the ball ache of getting up that early on a Saturday and having to get into London.
Yeah, exactly.
So at the moment, I'm planning to stay. But I remember before tickets went on sale, like the day before, when they announced the festival and stuff, it was kind of in my head. I thought, well, this is a sure thing. There's no way that we're not going to get tickets to go. And I'll be honest with you, like you said, when they announced the prices and stuff, I was like, I don't know. That is a lot of cash for a one dayer, So
and also the big sort of thing on the poster says "Meet the Cast" in great big letters, and that again is a bit misleading because that's the name of the show.
Yeah,
isn't it? So that's really cheeky, I think. Meet the Cast. Basically, that means sit in a great big auditorium with thousands of people and see a dot on a stage. It's not meet the cast, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to it. Don't get me wrong, I am really looking forward to it. And I mean, we got to go there. It's we got to be there. But I am I am going to be slightly disappointed if I don't manage to grab one of those photo opportunities. Are you going to be? Because obviously we've just been chatting about how expensive this is, but are you going to be buying any photo opportunities, or do you think you've given them enough money?
At this moment in time, I think I've given them enough money.
Yeah.
So I'll probably just enjoy the day with what's going on and not pay extra for photo ops and stuff. But
well, I am desperate for a photo with Capaldi, so I will probably try and grab one of those. I'm not getting my hopes up though, because I know what it was like last time. It was just impossible. So I'm just going to, fingers crossed, try and get one. But if I don't, yeah. But I'm looking forward. We're going to have a great day up there. I'm just going to soak up the atmosphere and be with all the other Who fans. We'll love it. It will be a good day.
Yeah, and don't worry, mate. I'm pretty good with the old Photoshop. So if you don't manage to get a pic, it's not the end of the world.
I wanted to get. I was going to say I did manage to grab one with Capaldi, but it was a mad when all that he was in the middle of all that crowd, and he's sort of, because it's the iPhone and it's not very good if anyone moves. Capaldi's sort of got 4 eyes in it. Do you know what I mean? It's a really sort of. I was thinking there must be a way to digitally enhance this to remove 2 of those eyes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to make it a better picture. But yeah, I would like to get a proper pic with him. But if not, I'll take you up on that offer.
Well, I had loads of people when we launched the new website. We've got you and I together holding our sonic screwdrivers.
Yeah.
Loads of people commented on that, saying, "Oh, it's a good photo of you two," and blah blah blah. We're not actually together, are we?
Oh yeah, no, I know, that's right. No, the magic of Photoshop.
Yeah. It's all good.
Actually, I'll tell you what. Just quickly talking about Capaldi as well. I've seen some brilliant because obviously they're doing a lot more location filming in a minute. So I've seen a lot of pictures with him with fans, and I saw the most incredible YouTube video yesterday where they're filming. I don't know where it is. It looks like it's by the sea or something, and it's like this guy who's just gone down to location with his mum, and he's like just watching the film, and it seems like no one's around. He can't believe it. He's like, I just don't know if no one knew they were filming or whatever, but normally there's crowds of people.
Yeah.
There's no one around, and Peter Capaldi just walks up to him. He doesn't even approach him because he's a bit scared. Peter Capaldi just walks up and starts chatting to him, and he's filming it all. And starts doing all these poses, pointing out, like doing that classic pointing pose. And,
Yeah.
and he's like going, so do you want to do it against this backdrop, or where do you want to do it? And he's just incredible with fans, mate. I'll tell you, I was so jealous watching that clip, but I was also just thinking, what a guy. He doesn't just sort of come up and go, come on then, quickly. He's like actually like doing a photo shoot. He's like, yeah, where do you want to do it then? Incredible. I love the man.
He's like the Ace Rimmer of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Yeah, what a guy. Smoke me a kipper, I'll be back for breakfast. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking of the, just get back on the festival. We're probably going to, we should hopefully be doing some podcasty bits there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take my audio recorder and a mic and stuff like that, and we'll interview a load of cosplayers and do that stuff. So even if you can't make it, we'll put loads of pics and some audio stuff on anyway.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
be good.
we'll keep you all in the loop, and we should be tweeting out throughout the day and stuff like that. So if you
Definitely.
didn't get a ticket, or you don't want to spend that amount on a ticket, fear not. We'll sort you out.
Yeah, I've seen a few of our listeners have sent us messages saying that they're going to be there the same day. So yeah, looking forward to meeting a few people as well. And like you said, we'll grab some interviews with people. I've never seen all your recording equipment. I've got a vision of you with like a Ghostbusters backpack size with all this stuff, like a big recording wheel on your back and all these microphones and stuff.
No, it's very compact.
Pretty portable.
Yeah.
Cool.
For those of you in the know, so Roland R-05. And
Okay.
yeah, so we'll take all that. We'll take that stuff, and we'll be able to keep you in the loop of what's going on. But it should be a good day.
Yeah, it will. It will be good.
Negativity aside, it'll be an awesome day, I think.
It's going to be great. Yeah.
Sure.
Right. Let's see. We better get into the news then. We've got a bit to go through this week, haven't we?
We have.
News? Yeah.
Let's land it, dude, and
Okay.
we'll crack on. First up, we have some cool news, actually, because I really like this character. The Ingrid Oliver, who plays Osgood, is jumping over to Big Finish as well.
Yeah, I think she'll be really good,
That's
actually.
way cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's going to join Gemma Redgrave, Kate Stewart, on one of the new unit. I'm assuming this is the first of a few. I'd like to think this isn't a one-off unit.
No, I
production.
would assume so.
Yeah.
No Big Finish, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully this is the first of many unit stories. But for the first one, so she was only recently announced. I think it was the weekend just gone, or early this week. And when I saw it, I just thought it was another news story about her character in the TV show. And then when I saw the Big Finish stuff, I was like, wow, this is going to be cool. So this one is defo on the pre-order list.
Yeah,
I
it is
think.
now. It's funny because I was excited when they announced this. And I don't know if this is the official cover, but I really like it. It's really cool with the explosion and stuff. And I'm assuming they didn't have Ingrid in it before. I'm trying to picture it because I've seen this cover before and she's now on it. So I'm assuming they sort of did one without her on, did they?
They did, yeah.
Yeah, must have done.
Yeah, she wasn't on the first one, I believe.
It was the same sort of cover, but without it. But now that Ingrid's in it, yeah, this definitely is a must-have for me because I like Kate Stewart, but she's a little bit monotone, and I think you need someone like Osgood to bring a bit more to it, bit of humour to it, and I can imagine she'll be good on audio. You know, so
She
yeah,
would be,
yeah. So I am actually I'm really looking forward to this, and you're right, I'm definitely the one to pre-order. When is it actually out?
It's out in November.
November. Okay.
Yeah, and you can pre-order it now. So I'm assuming it's what, 20 quid via Big Finish if you pre-order it now.
they normally are, because then as soon as they're released, the price kind of jumps up, doesn't it? So
it's 20 quid. Yep. And I was excited because I really like her character, and I think she's got a good. I don't mean this sarcastically. I think she has got a really good voice for audio and stuff.
Yeah, I do.
So yeah.
One for the pre-order list. I was going to say, and I think as well that because she's going to be in the series, I'm wondering when Stephen Moffat decided to bring her back. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously they wanted to tie in with the TV series. Mm-hmm. Just wondering if the two sort of went hand in hand. I don't know, but yeah, very good. I should definitely be ordering that.
Indeedy.
Right. So other news, another festival, Gary. What's with this festival thing? Why have we gone from sort of? It just sounds so 1960s to me. But anyway, there's going to be a Radio Times festival in September. It's going to be at Hampton Court, and the reason I'm mentioning it is because it's going to be celebrating some of the biggest shows, and that does of course include Doctor Who. And there's going to be some big names there. And what I'm really excited about is we've got Peter Capaldi, Stephen Moffat, and Russell T Davies all on the same stage. So that should be not at the same time, though, I don't think.
No.
Which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, that sounds pretty cool. When is it? 24th and the 27th of September, I believe.
24th to the and the Doctor Who panel is on the Friday the 25th. It's in the afternoon. So if you want to go to that one, you'll have to take the day off work or something. But 2:30 to 3:30. So yeah, like you say, it's a festival. And because when you picture a festival, I think of something like
Wellingtons.
Yeah, so like a typical like Leeds festival or Reading or something like that, like outdoor hippie stuff. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. But anyway, so Doctor Who, and Russell T Davies are both there, which is awesome. Yeah,
Russell's on at 4, so it's like the Moff will be exiting the stage pretty much as Russell's coming on. It'd be quite good if they sort of give the old "Why are you order" as they walk past each other. Why are you order?
Yeah,
erasing all my writing. But yeah, it should be pretty cool. I must admit, I'd love to. I'm more excited by the Russell T Davies bit because I'd love to sort of go to an evening with, or I bet he'd just be really interesting just to listen to. He's just one of those people, isn't he? He's quite an interesting guy. Yeah.
So he's on for, so each talk or panel or presentation, whatever you want to call it, they're both on for an hour. So the Doctor Who one is Capaldi, Moffat, Brian Minchin, and a couple of other people. So those guys are all going to be doing it. But the RTD one, it's just him on his own.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be talking about just his work writing in television and so on. But I'm assuming that a decent chunk of that will be Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'd have thought so, yeah.
Cool. So, so tickets go on sale the 23rd of June, and there's a link in the show notes to that.
And I was trying to find out prices, because it's when you go to you got a nice website for it, but sort of all the prices are individually for each show. So I think it's around about 20 quid for this.
Okay,
I believe. Cool. But yeah, so their pricing system's a bit odd because they've sort of each show's a different price. Because the first one I clicked on was £75.
Whoa.
And I was like, say what? I was like, what is going on? But no, that was for a different part of the festival. So yeah, I don't know. So I think the Doctor Who bit's around 20 quid, but don't quote me on it. But yeah, it's worth checking out if you're interested in going.
Yeah. Be good.
Yeah, more money.
More money on festivals. It sounds like we go to like a lot of music-based events. When if you were to say to somebody, I've spent loads on festivals this year, they'd be like, oh, right, what bands have you seen?
Yeah, well, we've seen that one with Ben Foster in. That was a good band.
Yeah, the Ben Foster band. That festival was good.
Yeah. It sounds kind of cool, actually. Now I think about it, I kind of like it. Because I've never actually been to like Glastonbury or anything like that. And I always feel a bit uncool. Because it's like you're supposed to do it, and I feel like the time's gone now. I'm too old to go, so yeah, I feel a bit cooler saying, I'm off to a couple of festivals this year. Yeah,
it does sound cool.
Yeah.
Talking of Ben Foster, do you follow him on Twitter?
No, I don't actually. No, I didn't know he was on it.
Oh, he puts loads of good stuff on there.
Oh, right, okay, right. I shall have to follow him.
Yeah, he's cool. Puts loads of like behind the scenes Who stuff, like recording orchestra and just loads of Who stuff, pictures and stuff. He's very cool.
Oh, excellent. Okay, yeah, no, I'll check him out.
Yeah, Ben Foster.
I like old Ben.
Yeah, Benjamin.
All right, Benjamin.
Next bit of news before we get carried away. I think last episode we gave you some news about the BBC being a bit mysterious and cloak and dagger about the upcoming episode 10. Was it last episode or the one before?
Yeah, I was just trying to think because
Yeah.
time goes quick, but yeah.
Last episode, I think, where they put a picture on of the front cover of the episode 10 script for the upcoming new series, but they'd blurred out the writer and the title and stuff. So now that has been revealed that the writer for that episode is Sarah Dollard.
Sarah Dollard, right.
Sarah Dollard, yes. So she's going to be, well, she has written episode 10. And I'm not sure we've got a title yet for it. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen that anywhere. So we haven't got a title. However, good news that she's on board to write for Who, because she's actually written for some really good shows.
Yeah, she has, yeah.
Her writing career has spanned quite a few years now. So she's written for things like Primeval, Being Human, Merlin, which is quite popular. And I think back in the day, Neighbours as well. I read something.
Good old Neighbours.
Yeah. So that's really cool because I think, generally speaking, we haven't had. When's the last time we had a good female writer on the show?
Probably Survival.
Was it?
No, I don't know, but it's been a while, isn't it?
I said a good.
Survival is good.
So, did we have any female writers last series? Series 9? Series 8.
I don't believe so. I could be wrong.
So, this could be cool. This could change it up a little bit.
Yeah, I must admit, when the name was announced, I haven't heard of her. I was a bit like, who? But having looked at it and watched the little video clip, she seems really cool.
She does, yeah.
And I love the fact she's got a little ace figure. Just if you look at the bottom of the screen in the video to the left, there's a little ace figure, which immediately puts high up in my regard. So, yeah, that's very good news.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
awesome.
we look forward to hearing what the title of the episode is and seeing the episode. And in last bit of news, talking of Series 9, I was a bit surprised by this. We've got a character coming back. Do you remember Riggsy?
Old Riggsy, yeah.
Not Rigsby from Rising Damp. Riggsy from Flatline.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming back for. Actually, I think it is episode 10. It's her episode, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's coming back for her episode. Now, I say surprised just because there's nothing wrong with his character, but he didn't exactly strike me as somebody I thought, we're going to see him again.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, you have that a lot, quite a lot with supporting cast where you just, and this is a good example, as you said, you just wouldn't assume you would see this character pop up again.
No, I'm intrigued to find out why he's back. Like, there must be a reason for it.
I wonder if it's connected to the Flatliners story.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, because I actually really liked that episode, I have to admit. And it's strange enough, it was one from the trailer. I remember thinking, that doesn't look very good. And it turned out to be an episode I really liked, and I knew it was a Dr. Light one as well. But yeah, it's just not a character I would think would come back. I mean, I thought the guys from the Time Heist, that little gang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now those, whether you like them or not, I thought they've definitely been written to come back. And then obviously no sign of them. But yeah, this one, it sort of went under the radar a bit. But yeah, I'm intrigued to know why. And it'd be good if it does tie in. What were those creatures called? The Boneless?
The Boneless, yeah.
Or the Nameless? No, the Boneless.
The Boneless, I think so, yeah. And the episode, it was called Flatline, wasn't it? Not Flatliners.
Flatline, yeah.
Flatline, yeah.
Flatline. So yeah, maybe it'll tie in with that. We'll see. Perhaps that's why they haven't released a title. Maybe it's because it'll reveal the monster or something.
Oh, that's true.
Could be.
So I'm pretty sure that it's not going to have anything to do with the Boneless, because didn't the Doctor banish them to another dimension?
Yeah, he did actually.
Without reversing any kind of polarity. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we look forward to seeing Riggsy again. I've got to get it into my head that it's Riggsy and not Rigsby.
It's so easy to say Rigsby.
Yeah.
Well, I think depending on how old you are.
That's true.
It's easy to say Rigsby, but yeah, that's cool.
Our listeners will be like, "What is he on about?" Yeah. Check out Rising Damp; it was cool.
Yeah, classic comedy.
Classic British comedy.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think that's the news, buddy. It's got some good news there this week.
Yeah.
Some good bits.
Yeah. Adam,
Yes.
Hit me.
This week we are off to new Earth.
Lab rats. No wonder the sisters have got a cure for everything. They built the ultimate research laboratory. A human farm.
Why don't they just die?
Plague carriers. The last to go.
It's for the greater cause.
Novice Hayne. When you took your vows, did you agree to this?
The Sisterhood has sworn to help,
What, by killing?
but they're not real people. They're specially grown. They have no proper existence.
What's the turnover? 1,000 a day? 1,000 the next? 1,000 the next? How many thousand? For how many years? How many?
Mankind needed us. They came to this planet with so many illnesses. We couldn't cope. We did try. We tried everything. We tried using clone meat and bio-cattle, but the results were too slow. So the Sisterhood grew its own flesh. That's all they are.
They've got the plague.
That guy would have been perfect in this episode.
Well, he was crying out for him to make an appearance, wasn't it? Wouldn't it have been hilarious if he'd have stepped out of one of those capsules? We've got the plague. He's back.
Plague.
So, New Earth.
New
Russell
Earth.
T Davis, Tennant's first sort of proper episode after spending spending a lot of time in bed in the Christmas invasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was his first. This was like this was series, like episode 1 of series 2.
Yeah,
Wasn't
kicked
it?
off, yeah.
So back in April 06.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was actually written by RTD, but he kicked off these first ones, didn't he? Yeah, so the deal with this one is the Doctor and Rose, they're kind of, she's like super excited and all giggly, isn't she? Because it's like her first proper adventure with the Doctor. They're on a new, a new planet, everything's different. And typically with Doctor Who, nothing stays happy and rosy for longer than a couple of minutes. So they're off, and as they explore New Earth, I guess, they just get drafted into this whole conspiracy theory, don't they, with these in this hospital where the patients are being healed surprisingly quickly. And the Doctor can't kind of figure out how they're healing people who have got like terminal diseases.
That's right.
Who should be dead and stuff. They're getting healed really, really quickly, and he can't figure it out. And then it transpires that they're basically breeding humans for the sake of just infecting them with every disease, so that they can get cures like super fast or super efficient, should I say?
Yeah.
So the Doctor cottons onto this. He's not happy, obviously. And just saves the day. But there is an interesting twist, or the kind of sub-story to this one, where there's a character called Lady Cassandra, and she's been living in the basement, hasn't she, of this hospital?
Yeah.
And she's got this like little servant,
Chip,
yeah. So he's been kind of keeping her alive and stuff like that. So she's monitoring stuff. She sees that a Doctor and Rose are there. She basically kidnapped Rose's body. Because she wants to just live on and on. So now she's got a body. The Doctor doesn't let that happen. And then the story kind of gets wrapped up with he saves the day. He saves all the infected people. And Lady Cassandra kind of has a last minute kind of change of heart, I guess, and accepts her fate.
Yeah, at one point she has to go inside because she keeps jumping from body to body. And at one point she has to go inside a zombie. And it kind of gives her an insight of what they're going through, which gives her a change of heart, doesn't it? Which is not bad. It's quite a nice little idea. There's also, we've got Return of the Face of Bow. So it's, in a way, it's a sequel to The End of the World, isn't it? In a sense, because we've got like Cassandra and the Face of Bow both returning from that episode.
Yeah.
Out of the two, I much prefer the Face of Bow. I find Cassandra quite annoying. I think she worked okay in The End of the World, but I find her quite annoying in this one. Whereas I love the Face of Bow. I like, just don't know, something about that character.
His big old face.
Big old face, yeah. And I like the fact he sort of summons the Doctor there with his, on the psychic paper, doesn't he? Kind of tells him he needs to see him, even though he says he's got this big secret, and then he says, "Actually, I'll tell you next week. I'll tell you next. I won't tell you now. I'll tell you next time I see you." But yeah, I do like the Face of Bow in it.
Was that the first time as well, or the only time that we've seen something actually appear on the psychic paper.
Wow, it's funny you say that because having watched it again the other day, I remember I was thinking that's pretty cool. I like the way they've done that of the writing sort of being scribbled as if it's being written.
Yeah.
And I don't recall seeing that very much.
Because when the Doctor always shows like the psychic paper to people,
it's blank.
It's always blank, isn't it? So could you guys let us know if that's the case, if we've actually seen, because the psychic paper, that's a modern Who thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm right in saying, yeah. So have you guys ever seen the psychic paper with actually something on it that we can see as well as the Doctor? Because I think this is the only time we've seen what the Doctor sees.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah, you could be right because I thought, well, I was thinking along the same lines. Just I thought at the time that's pretty cool. I like the fact that the way they've done that, nice little idea, and that it did strike me that it was new and that we don't see that very often. Yeah, so perhaps the listeners could let us know.
Yeah, giant cat ladies.
Giant cat ladies, giant cat lady nurses.
Yeah,
This what they call the sisterhood of something.
the
Plenitude.
sisterhood.
Yeah.
Plenitude,
I don't
yeah.
mind the cat ladies. I think they're okay. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought the costume makeup stuff was awesome.
Better than the survival?
So I thought the makeup was awesome. Like,
Yeah.
considering it's we're quite early on, so the budget wasn't huge. Well, I say huge. I don't know. Well, the budget isn't as big as what we would get today for Doctor Who. And I thought the makeup was done really, really well.
It is actually.
It was also, I think they used a very similar effect in Gridlocked,
Yeah.
you know, with those guys. But anyway, it looks really good. And I don't know, I found them a little bit creepy. I found them a little bit like immediately untrustworthy.
Yeah.
Did you get
Yeah,
that
they
vibe?
look a bit sinister. Yeah, they do. They look a bit sinister. I agree with you. I think they look pretty good. They look pretty decent. And yeah, I don't know, something about the sort of nurse's costume with it. I don't know, it does. There is something sinister about them, yeah.
Which is, well, the practical effects I thought much outweighed the visual CG effects in this one. Some of it was very bad.
It's funny you say that because when this was being trailered before it went out, I remember thinking it looked really impressive. I remember thinking like there was, you know, like the little BBC trailer for it. I was so excited for this new series of Doctor Who, as you can imagine. And I remember sort of showing this to the guy I worked with who was a bit not really a Doctor Who fan, and saying, look at this trailer for the new series. This is going to be great. And he was like, oh, they spent a bit of money on it then, because this sort of looked quite good back then. And it really hasn't aged well. It
No.
you know, it doesn't look great at all.
No, there's a bit at the beginning, you know, when they're just sitting on the grass.
Yeah.
You know, and there's like these, you can see the city in
All
the
the
background,
ships.
which doesn't look too bad, but then you've got these like hover cars and stuff that are whizzing past them, and they look very bad.
They do, but do you know
Yeah.
what's even worse than that is that and this has always bugged me, even from the first time I watched it, the dubbing at the start of this episode. Like, what is going on?
Oh, right, yeah, yeah.
For the first 10 minutes, it's so badly dubbed. I mean, it's normally you might get the odd line or even the odd scene where they've had to redub it. But I was thinking my disc was faulty, but luckily I remembered this from the time. You know, it's really bad. It goes on for ages. It's not until they actually get into the complex and into the shower, I think, that we finally get some real dialogue that isn't dubbed, I think.
Yeah.
It's really bad. It's so obvious.
Yeah, I think it was quite noisy out on the
It
Welsh
looks
hills.
it looks like a really rough day, doesn't it? You can see they're all smiling and trying to make out it's lovely, and we're sat on the grass, but you can tell just from the fact that their hair's blown all over the place and it's as grey as anything. It was obviously a really bad day, in terms of filming and sound. So I can see why it had to be dubbed, but it's just that it doesn't seem to have been treated at all. It just sounds so studio, and I'm sure they could have done it better. But anyway.
And they not tied it up for the Blu-ray release, or was it just the straight?
No, it's the same. It's just the same. Yeah. As I said, if I didn't know, if I hadn't, I remembered it being bad anyway. But if I didn't know better, I think it was, you know, like sometimes your sound goes out of sync.
Yep.
On a disc, I've had that before, where the authoring of the disc isn't right. It's like that. It's just really not good.
Not good.
Not good. Which sort of brings me on to the sort of overall tone of this episode. I think you said last week as well, you haven't watched this for a while. I haven't watched it for quite some time. And I remember thinking it was an okay episode, not great, not bad. That's in my mind. Thinking, yeah, I haven't watched it for a while, but I think it's all right. I don't remember thinking it was, anything special.
Yeah.
Having watched it again on Tuesday, it's so much worse than I remembered.
Really?
I mean, it really, really. I was quite shocked actually how bad it was, because I don't remember it being that bad, and I don't know if it's just because it hasn't aged very well. But there's so many bits in it where I was just cringing and groaning. And I was quite surprised, actually, because I did think it was as bad as it is, in my opinion, anyway.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not to say it's a complete write-off, because there are some good moments in it. But, my overall feelings on this episode are that it ain't great. And it should have been, because and we've had this before, where we've got some really good ideas and there's quite a lot going on in it, some good elements. There are bits I like, but it just doesn't come together at all. And the biggest sort of the biggest thing for me with it is the humour in it just falls completely flat. It's just cringy. I think that's what really kills it for me, because there are other bits in it that I think work okay, but it's just all the stuff with the Rose jumping from body to body and the silly voices and I was struggling with it, mate, to be honest with you.
Okie dokie.
And I think Tennant deserved a much better intro to his first series, much stronger story. Again, this seems to be focused a lot around Rose. It should have been, we should have had our Doctor at the forefront in a much stronger story, I think.
Okay.
So that's my overall feelings.
That's
what about
feelings.
you?
My feelings is, this is probably my favourite.
Oh, you jest, sir.
Oh God, the constant wind-up. No,
somebody nearly dropped their coffee last week when you said, what was it? You said you didn't like City of Death when you were jesting.
That's right.
I saw one of the comments. Someone was like, "What?" You could just imagine them. Yeah.
Yeah. No, New Earth. I thought was a big letdown in terms of story and character stuff, because it's strange, because there's potential there for it to be quite cool. If you got rid of, so the problem that I've got with it is when the reveals came, there just wasn't enough to carry it forward after that. So when the Doctor and Rose, or Lady Cassandra as she was at the time, when they hack their way through the system to get into like the basement or whatever, where they've got all the test humans.
Yeah.
Once you found that out, that was it.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go with it.
There's nowhere to go, because, there was only two ways you were going to go, wasn't it? Either the Doctor wasn't going to be able to save anyone, he was going to jump in his TARDIS and bugger off. That wouldn't have been a very well-written episode for Who fans, especially younger Who fans. Or you go the other way, where you're like, okay, I can see that the Doctor's going to save all these guys, and that was it. So I found that, and also when Lady Cassandra goes into Rose's body, you knew that by the end of the episode that wasn't going to stick.
Yeah, of
so
course,
she was going to be out of the picture. So I just found it like a big soup of predictability, and that didn't even, because I haven't watched this one since. We must be talking a few years now. It's been a long time since I watched it. And after I finished watching this yesterday, I thought, there's a reason why I haven't watched this one. Because I remember it being pretty poor. So, don't know. I mean, what did you think? Okay, so story-wise, not great. Not very great at all. Character-wise, what did you think of Tennant? I mean, I know he's working with a pretty bad story and the script is pretty bad. What did you think to him, like his first proper outing as the Doctor?
I think he's okay. He's trying a bit too hard. I think I wrote. Let me have a look. Because basically, there's a lot of bits where he's shouting and he's obviously really trying to inject some, tension and angst into the episode.
Yep.
But it just, it's a bit too. He's a bit too over the top, and not really his fault. Like you said, he's doing well with what he's got to work with, and he's still very good in it. All the little bits at the start when he's like, there should be a little shop and all that, and he does that sort of thing quite well. Tennant, he's got a sort of a charm to him.
Yeah.
And he's got that straight from the off. So I like that. But I don't think he's on top form in it. But obviously, it's very early on in his run. and like you said, he's not given a great script to work with. But I just found, the bits where he's like shouting in the thing, he goes from sort of nothing to that, and it seems very over the top to me. Because I know he's cross, and but I don't know. It just seemed like he was a bit, over the top. What did you think?
Yes, I agree totally. I really wanted this one to be like an epic first go, at the series, and it's one of those episodes where you just feel like, oh, what a shame. It could have been awesome, but which is in stark contrast to the next one, Tooth and Claw, where he's absolutely brilliant in that.
Yes, absolutely.
And Rose, to be fair. So in the next one, Tennant and Piper are really good, and the supporting cast is really good as well, and it's a good story. So it's really weird that it goes from something like this, which really should have been...
It should have been the other way round.
Well, do you know what? I was going to say this one should have been, if they were going to try and get some kind of filler episode, they could have put it later on in the series. But I guess at the time, that's ridiculous. You would never write something to be a filler episode. I'm assuming that everybody writes the best that they can do and all that kind of stuff. But looking back on it now in hindsight, it feels like just a bit of a filler to pad the series out.
It's nowhere near good enough for the start of the series, is it? That's the thing. And I think even Russell, I've heard him on a commentary somewhere. This is a long time ago, but even he said that they did think about switching the episodes round so that Tooth and Claw went out first, because he knew it was the stronger of the two, by far. But obviously, like this one, he's kind of written it as the opener because you've got the nice intro with them saying goodbye to Jackie, and that first 5 minutes is probably the best bit. It's a really nice little start, isn't it, of them saying goodbye and the Doctor, right, let's go further than we ever gone before, and you really think, oh, here we go, then it just falls flat. But so I think it would have been difficult if they had decided to swap it round. But I think even Russell acknowledges it wasn't his finest moment, and it's such a shame because I'll tell you what, This was really, I mean, Doctor Who. Chris brought Doctor Who back, and it put it right back in the public's eye. By the time Tennant was taking over, the show was really building. I can remember it, and I can remember thinking, wow, this is getting big. Tennant's taking it to the next level without a doubt, and it should have. I think this killed it a bit flat. I think the viewing figures dropped a lot the following week, and I have a very vivid memory of these two guys on I don't know what it was. It must have been like CBBC or something. There was a Doctor Who thing on one of the sort of CBBS channels, and I just caught the very end, and I'll never forget these two young chaps, and they said something along the lines of, well, don't forget to watch Doctor Who next week, and the other one chipped in, yeah, let's hope it's better than llast week's episode.
Really?
I thought they are. I don't think they ever worked again. But I was thinking, whoa, even they're saying it. They shouldn't be saying it. It was a real cheeky, flippant comment. And I bet you they got in trouble for it because, but they were sort of saying what everyone was thinking, like, oh, dear, let's hope next week's better. I think my cousin actually texted me and said the same thing after the episode. Was like, ooh, that wasn't good. Because I think a lot of people were tuning in because the buzz for Doctor Who was really, really starting to build big time. At the start of the 10 era, it got a good following from Chris, but it was building big time at this point. And I think a lot of people tuned in to see what the fuss was about and probably watched this and thought, no, forget that,
Because in the Christmas Invasion, even though he had spent the 2/3 of it kind of asleep, the last third, he just nails it.
See, I really like the Christmas Invasion.
Yeah, especially Tennant. I mean, specifically, he nails that.
Yeah.
The whole thing, and after that, the long wait for the series to start, you were thinking, well, if it's anything like his performance in the Christmas Invasion, we're in for a treat. So I can imagine. I wasn't watching Who at the time, but I can imagine people being like, oh, we're hoping for a bit more, probably.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he's terrible. I don't think he's bad in it.
He's
but
not.
It's definitely not on form. He's not hitting the mark in this one.
Yeah.
But I think you've summed it up. I think it's more to do with what he's got to work with than anything else, and probably the way it's directed, I guess. What about Billy, though? Because I think, again, probably not Billy's fault, but I find her incredibly irritating in this. With the stupid voice when she gets taken over by Cassandra and she's trying to act like Cassandra, and Oh, I was just cringing through those scenes.
It's a bit. I think she's doing a pretty good job. I wasn't too fussed about, especially that scene where Lady Cassandra first goes into Rose and she's like looking up and down in the mirror and she's,
I'm a chav.
you know, all that stuff. I didn't mind that too much. I think Billy's doing a pretty good job there with that. But I think they just took it on a bit too much. I think it was a bit repetitive with that.
Yeah, I particularly at the bit where they keep swapping back and forth. I mean, when she goes into the doctor and he's like, "Oh, I'm busting a samba" and all that. Oh God, mate! I tell you, I was just like, "This is awful." And I can imagine that Russell, on paper, I can imagine it looked quite funny in his head. I can imagine him writing it, thinking this is going to be hilarious when they do it. But yeah, a lot of the humour in this falls really flat, which is surprising because Russell's normally pretty good with the humour. He normally sort of gets it just right, you know. But I just think in this, I get the feeling actually when I watch it, because a lot of the humour is very in your face.
Yeah, it is.
Some of it's there's a bit too much innuendo, and I get the feeling watching this that Russell was feeling very confident and a bit too confident. I don't know. That's how it comes across to me, that he just sort of felt he could sort of go that little bit further with some of the jokes and the humor, and you know, there's a confidence to it, but it just doesn't pay off, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. It's the humor part of it there was a couple of okay little gags in there, but I kind of agree with you with the bit where she goes into the doctor and the whole samba thing, and that I can imagine at the time it would have got some laughs, and David Tennant's doing it pretty well, but it you know, watching it back now, it is a little bit, you know, a little bit cringe, a little bit like, say for example, if you were trying to get somebody into Doctor Who, they'd never seen it before, and for some bizarre reason you'd put this episode on. Say if you're doing say for example they said like, I've watched a few Chris Eccleston episodes in the past, but I want to do like a marathon. I want to start with Tennant. And you're sitting there and you're watching this one with them, you'd probably be a bit embarrassed.
Yeah, you would.
Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to say, it's like, it gets better than this, I promise. It does get better. Yeah,
that's it. That's what you'd be saying. You say, it gets better. Yeah, it's exactly what you'd be saying. And I was just thinking, because they are just about to start, aren't they, on the Disney Channel
that's right.
with this episode. Maybe it will suit the Disney Channel, because it does feel very kiddie to me, this one. It does remind me of a sort of CBBC.
It is a little bit, yeah.
Or is it CB, whatever. But yeah, it does feel very kiddie to me, this episode. I think what Russell tries to do is he tries to do a light episode at the start of a run. I think he always did that, like Partners in Crime. He'd do an easygoing one to try and entice people in, you know. And I think that's what he's tried to do with this. He's tried to do a fairly enjoyable romp with a bit of humour, some serious stuff to try and, you know, get people in. And unfortunately, it just hasn't quite come together.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So instead of starting the series off with sort of high impact and then bringing it down a bit, and then he's starting off slow, isn't he? And it's a build.
Yeah, I think he used to do that quite a bit. I think he just liked to sort of do a sort of a light story to begin with. For some reason, that was just his way, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, what about I do kind of like Chip. You know, the character. I think I like the fact he's sort of he sort of worships Cassandra, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think he's too bad. I think he's all right.
Yeah, he's quite cool. I think I kind of like how he looks as well.
Yeah,
because he's this. Apparently, he's a half-life human, isn't he? So he hasn't got a very long. He hasn't got long to go. And I like how they've done that. I'm not sure if these markings on him are intentional, or if he was born with them or not. But the makeup and the way that they had him look and stuff, I thought was quite cool. Because it doesn't look like he gets out much.
No.
So I thought that was quite cool. And yeah, he's a likable character for me. Although he's very gullible, and the only thing he knows is worshipping Lady Cassandra.
Yeah.
He still had a likability to him that I found.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's likable. And that part of the story works for me. It's one of the bits I think does work, is that, you know, that comes full circle, because then at the end, he says, you know, take over my body, I don't mind, you know, because he worships her, and she does, and she sort of finally sort of accepts her fate. That sort of works okay, I think, because it just sort of brings the story full circle, and, you know, his the fact that he worshipper kind of plays a part in it. And I don't even mind the end scene, actually, where the Doctor takes Chip back to meet her as a real person. I quite like the fact we get to see Cassandra before she turned into the skin scene. It's a little bit sentimental, but I don't mind it. I think that last little scene is not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite cool.
And, I think it works all right. I don't get how like the Doctor gathers all the what are they? All the cures. Empties them into a big bucket, and that just miraculously cures everyone in like 2 seconds. I think that's pretty lame, to be honest.
Like the cherry red, the lime green.
He empties about 3 packets in, and everyone's cured. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But once we get past all that, I just think that the very start of the episode's good. The middle is not good, and then I quite like the end. I do like the bit with Bo, with him and Face of Bo.
Yes,
it's a nice little scene, and we get a bit of mystery. He says, I've got a big secret to tell you. What does he say? I will tell you that we will meet for a third time and the last time. And it's a nice scene. Music's really nice as well in that bit. So I like all that. And I like the bit with Chip at the end. So the ending is okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Face of Bo, he does pop up again in Gridlock.
Yes, that's right. I haven't watched Gridlock for a while. Yeah, I must give that another watch. Yeah.
It's really closely linked, isn't it, to this episode? It happens in the same time frame.
Yes.
They're both set. What is it, like 5 billion and 23 is the year.
Yeah.
So they're both set at the same time, and you've got the cat people and all that stuff.
It's pretty gruesome as well when the cats are disintegrating or whatever. There's a couple of horror bits in this. And I think that's the thing. It overall feels like quite a messy episode because you've got all this humour and then some quite gruesome bits, and then there's all this stuff going on, and it just feels a very all over the place episode, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
If that's how I would describe it overall. It's just a mess. Yeah. No, it's just the episode's just all over the place, really. Yeah.
No, I read you, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. It's not one of who's best. Let's put it that way. No. Yeah.
I think I was just a little bit surprised how bad it was. I really don't remember it being so cringy. I remembered it wasn't great, but yeah, I'm quite shocked watching it again. It's really gone down in well, we'll get to the scores in a minute, but it's gone down quite a bit from how I remember it.
Yeah. Talking of scores, let's do it. It's your turn to go first.
All right, okay. Scores wise, well, God. Joe, I'm struggling with this because I really don't know where to pitch it. I've written 5 out of 10 in the book because I just put it's probably was better on paper. The script probably seemed good, but it just falls flat. Hasn't aged well. I think I'll stick with a 5 out of 10. It's kind of just middle of the road, really.
5.
Yeah, let's go with 5. I don't know if it should be lower or higher or whatever, but I'm just going to go 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Not great. What are you going for?
4 for me.
4.
Yep.
Yeah, see, I wondered if... I'll just stick with 5. I wondered if 5 was too high, but it's just... Yeah, it's not good. I was looking at my previous scores, you see, to see what I'd scored everything else, because this falls pretty near the bottom for me.
Okay, right.
So I was thinking of going 4 or 4.5 or 5, you know what I mean? But let's put it this way, it's at the lower end. So I'll go 5 out of 10.
Cool.
Yeah. What did our listeners think?
We had a couple of...
on the old Facebook.
Yeah, I was going to say, Facebook, you guys just flooded the page this week. So thank you massively for that. That was... it was just like comment after comment after comment. I was like, wow, these guys you're going for it. So I'm not going to sure I'm going to have time to read all of them or all the comments, but I will read all the names because you're all awesome. So first of all, Michael McGee, he says, it's nowhere near the best story. It's just in my case, it holds a special place in my heart because it's the first episode of Doctor Who that I ever watched. I did like how it felt, the Doctor Who version of a zombie movie, with the humans touching you and you're dead and so on. He said, yeah, but not one of the best, but nostalgia in my case, 7 out of 10. P.S. Love last week's episode, by the way. Smiley face.
Cheers.
Thank you. Our good friend Cousins, Cousins 2019. Episode is a strange one. Some bits I like when the Doctor is intensive care. David Tennant's acting is excellent, but when Cassandra is Rose, yuck. The Face of Bo is okay, and thank God it wasn't his last episode, which connects well into Gridlock. He gave it a 6.5.
Okay.
Kieran Knight. He said, I tried to go back with an open mind, and although the pacing was decent, I still had many of the same problems. Tony's all over the place, jumping from serious medical issue to quirky body swap pantomime. I probably agree with that, mate, how you've worded that. David Tennant gives a solid early performance through, and the Face of Bo is always cool. Cassandra is too sexual, and Doctor Who's worst villain, a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10, right, yeah. I agree about the sexual overtones. I was uncomfortable with a lot of that as well. There's a joke about, Billy says something about the skin is taken from her back, and Billy says, "Oh, so you're talking out of your," and then they cut off. I was like, "Oh no, this doesn't fit in Doctor Who." Anyway,
Alan Percival. Hi, Alan. I think it's the first time you've commented.
Alan.
I could be wrong. Welcome aboard. Some people don't like New Earth, but I've always liked it. I wasn't a fan of Tennant in the Christmas Invasion, but Tennant and Piper show they're a good combo. The comedic elements are great fun also. Stu Gee.
I just think that's the first time Alan's commented. When he hears our review, it might be the last.
It's a bit of a manic story, but the completion of Cassandra's tale makes it worthwhile. Joe Oliver. I have mixed feelings about this episode. While I love the patience and the city of the future, the bits with Cassandra can get on my nerves, although it does pay off very well. However, I don't understand why people care that it's not a good introductory episode. Surely that was Christmas Invasion for the 10th. Yeah, you're kind of right. That was his first one, but I think this is his first episode as truly kind of owning the programme.
Yeah, and also you would have been waiting a few months for the new series to kick off. So, you know what I mean? That anticipation, you're like, here we go. And then to get this.
We had Kieran Knight pop up again. He says, so this one was hilarious. We were honestly supposed to feel for Cassandra just because she accepted that the Doctor had been telling her what the Doctor had been telling her for 2 episodes. Question mark, exclamation mark.
2 episodes? I don't get that. What does he mean?
Well, I think the end of the world. He was trying to bang some sense into
I see.
okay.
Yeah, I think, but it was also because he might just. It's because she goes. Because I missed this the first time. It's because she briefly goes into the head of one of the zombies, and she sort of gets to feel their pain. Because that's part of the reason she then decides.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Tom Dix. After the faultless 14 episodes plus Children in Need special, we were given this god-awful joke of an episode. RTD has stated this one was written for Billy, which is correct, so she could do some comedy, and that was a wrong move. This should have been written as another introduction for 10, not as focused on the factor, but it should have still been there, as this was the start of his new series. Cassandra did nothing for me. The performances from all, bar Billy and David Tennant, were god-awful. And, well, overall, I just found it cringeworthy to watch. 1 out of 10.
I agree with a lot of that, Tom.
Yeah.
Perhaps not quite going as low with the score, but yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said.
Nice one, Tom. Ryan Anthony, the worst debut adventure ever. David Tennant is one of the better Doctors, and when compared to Matt Smith, we can see that he clearly had one of the better eras as well. Though judging by this, you wouldn't think it. It's awful, terrible, sickening. There's not one good thing about it. Oh, wait, there is. The ending. 1 out of 10 again.
Oh,
yeah.
Savage this week. I'm loving it.
Yeah. My good lady wife jumped on and just put hashtag cat people.
She wants to watch Survival, Gary. That's why.
Yeah. Thomas Andrew Evans. Pretty big episode, nothing to scream about. I'm not a fan of the cat people. I absolutely can't stand the things. However, the acting from Tennant and Piper was great. 7 out of 10.
Okay.
George Coppen. Basic story. Cassandra's annoying, but the infection people I quite like the idea of. Lewis Palmer.
Hello, Lewis.
This really is a weird one. It starts off about medical problems in the future, then turns into a weird story about Cassandra taking over Rose and the Doctor's body, which is really strange. Because I remember watching it loads when I was younger, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Debbie Melrose, a fab idea with overtones of Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf. Get in touch, Debbie. Let us know more about that. I can't see the Red Dwarf thing.
No.
But yeah, let us know on that. New Doctor, old villain in a new way. The Doctor once again saying that it shouldn't be happening like this. As a super fan of classic Who, it was great to see a good old-fashioned game of hide and seek. Despite Rose and Jack, in brackets, locking lips with Nine, this is the start of Everyone Must Kiss the Doctor, which saw a definite shift to appear with new Whovians. And the adventure for the sake of companion stories back over the years. But she digresses. This was a slick romp of an episode that didn't require any padding. Cheers, Debbie.
Cheers, Debbie.
And last comment from Paladin of Gallifrey. Let me say one thing. Billy Piper in the shower.
All right. Decleansing.
So, loads of comments there. Thank you very, very much, guys. That's awesome.
You filthy beast.
Filthy beast.
Right. I had a couple on Geek's Handbag. Our old mate, Harry Westergaard, he says, I would call it the weaker of the two Cassandra stories, but the first one wasn't really that strong to start with. So not a fan. Yanto Williams. Hello, Yanto. Not the best intro for David Tennant, although nice to see the face of Bo and Cassandra. Yeah, I think it is good to see the face of Bo. Callum Johnston, he says, don't like this one. It started the whole Dr. Rose love affair thing, and I hate Cassandra, but the face of Bo is cool, so I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Yeah, spot on. And finally, Ben Smith, he says, the worst series opener. Rose as Cassandra is incredibly irritating. The body swapping scenes are horrible. The humour falls flat on its face. And how the Doctor's random selection of curses managed to cure them is anyone's guess. Oh, cure, sorry, it's me reading it. Is anyone's guess. Although it's good to see the face of Bo, and the moral dilemma with what the nurses were doing was very interesting. He's given it a 3 out of 19. I think it's probably a typo. I think he means 3 out of 10. But I agree with a lot of what you said there, Ben, actually. Yeah, the whole thing with him grabbing the cures and all that and it curing everyone is very...
It's ridiculous.
Slapdash. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So 3 out of 10 from Ben. So some good comments there, and I think overall, there's a few people liked it, and a lot of those are people who were watching Doctor Who for the first time, and that's what I remember thinking. There's going to be a lot of people tuning in that have heard of this show, and it was a bit of it was quite an important episode in many ways. I think that's why it frustrates me that it's not that great.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think in other times I probably would have just, if it was a mid-season series one, like you said earlier, like a bit of a filler one or whatever, probably wouldn't bother me so much. But it was an important one. It was a kickstart to Tennant's first proper series. It should have been better.
Indeed, I agree.
Yeah.
What are we doing next week, buddy?
Oh, next week. Oh, my word. It's the one they've all been waiting for. It's Time and the Rani next week.
Yeah.
Sylvester McCoy's first episode. So, we're looking forward to chewing the fat on that one.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one to talk through, I believe.
It certainly is.
Indeed. And I think that will wrap for 45, buddy.
Okay.
So thank you very much for joining us on this journey in the TARDIS for episode 45. Trivia question time. Last week we asked you, what were the very first words written in history? And for a few days we didn't have anything from anyone, and then they all started coming through. So on Twitter we had Epic Who, and we also had Cousins 2019 also on Twitter as well, and we also had Kieran Knight on Facebook. So you all got it right. The first words in history were "Hello, sweetie."
Of course, yes.
Of course, left by River Song for the Doctor.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that, I was like, of course it was. I couldn't think of it last week when you said it.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Next week's question, or this week's question, shall I say? How many people have to be online in order for the Osterhagen key to be used?
Ooh.
How many people have to be online in order for the Osterhagen key to be used? Just jump onto Twitter or Facebook and hit us up with the answer. We'll read them out next week.
Excellent.
Excellent. So jump over to our website, www.bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. From there you can check out all of our previous episodes, and you can also link off to Twitter and Facebook to give us a follow and a like. You can also subscribe to the show in iTunes. In iTunes, if you just do a search for Big Blue Box Podcast, it will pop up. Our 2 mugs are on the picture everywhere, so just give us a subscribe on there. That'd be very cool.
Our photoshopped mugs.
Photoshopped mugs, yeah.
Actually, just to say, because a few people have requested a couple of episodes that we've already done. So yeah, go and check out some of our previous episodes. Have a look online, because some of the ones you've asked for we did sort of earlier on. So yeah, it's worth going back and seeing if you've missed any.
Yeah, they're all on iTunes or on the website, so you can find them all from there, episode 1 onwards. Also check out Adam's YouTube channel, The Geek's Handbag.
Yes.
So many good videos on there.
Oh, I've got a cracker coming up. I've been slaving away on this for about 4 months.
Cool.
But I'm finally getting there, and I'm quite pleased with the result. Yeah, it's a convention one, so yeah, it's coming up soon.
Coolio. Right, so until next week, when you join us for episode 46, my name's Gary.
And my name's Adam.
Until then, Alonzi!